I'm going to be doing a get ready. We are going to use the Hocus Pocus palette. Hopefully you can see me. Trying to reposition with the new setup, camera angles and all of that. So hopefully you can see me. I have my mirror. I may scoot it a little bit closer when I do my eyeshadow, but it's out of frame, I believe, right now. So I'm just going to do my skincare. I didn't want to do a standalone video with the Hocus Pocus palette unless I get requests for it. I just didn't feel it was necessary. I know it was a hard palette to get, and I know not everybody got it, not everybody wanted it, and it was a whole mess. So it's not one of those things where I'm like, oh, I can review it so you can go get it, because I don't think they're bringing it back. I think they did the initial launch and that was it. Which I don't know why. I don't really quite understand why they did that, but so I'm just moisturizing and putting some serum on. My skin's been really, really dry still. It's been messed up since I had the surgeries. Honestly, it's never quite gone back. Not that it was great before, because my skin's always been dry, but the texture's been bad. The bumps that I have around my face never really went away. So I've just been kind of trying to combat that. So I'm just going to put my eye. I don't think it's necessary to go out and buy eye cream. I use eye cream because I have it, because I get it occasionally in subscription boxes, but it's not, I think I purchased it once or twice from Mary Kay, but I don't know that it's something that's necessary. You can just put moisturizer under your eyes. I know there's a lot of dermatologists and estheticians that just will tell you just use moisturizer. It's not necessary to have a separate eye cream. I do have my coffee. I'm going to get ready for work. The makeup itself is not going to take me that long, just because I'm only putting it on my forehead essentially and under my eyes. The skincare I put all over, just because obviously my skin is bad all over and it needs the help. And I do put a little bit of primer right in this area. I do my mattifying one. It seems like that kind of helps keep my face from breaking out. The last one that I used, this is the Murad Essential C Daily Moisture with SPF. I thought this was just a sunscreen, and then I realized it was a moisturizer. I got this in Ipsy, I think. So I used it yesterday, just because you should be using SPF, and I don't, because I don't like the way a lot of sunscreens feel. They're very heavy and a little bit greasy, and I don't care for that, and I don't like the way makeup sits on that on my skin, so I tend to just not use sunscreen, even though I know that you should. So there's that. I do have my primers. I'm going to use the Professional. This is, I was lucky enough to get the hydrating one when we got this in BoxyCharm, and I just like to put a little bit of a pore filler on my forehead where my forehead lines are, and then when I have when I do my whole face, obviously I'll go in here where my pores are more visible, and then I'll put a little bit in my smile lines to kind of help things, keep things from kind of sinking in. I don't know if the pore fillers actually do anything or not. It could just be psychosomatic. And I think it's doing something, therefore it is situation, because I've heard estheticians say that the pore fillers don't really do anything. I mean, I think they do a little bit, but it's not, I don't think they do as much as what people are expecting them to do, kind of a thing, from what I've read. So I don't know, but I have them and I use them, and they don't break me out, because I know some people have a problem with the silicones clogging their pores and causing acne, but thankfully I don't have that problem. So I don't have a towel over here. I may have to wipe on my pants if it comes down to it. Normally, when I would film before, my desk has a set of drawers right next to it and I hang a towel. I might have to put a towel over here. This is only, I think, the third time I'm filming over here, so still getting used to it. So far, I like it. Let me know, because I've contemplated changing the color of the background. Mike likes the black, and then we're planning on hanging my lock, shock, and barrel masks that I have. I was thinking about taking this down and just being up against the white cabinet. So let me know if anybody has any opinions on that, thoughts. He likes the black better. He thinks it looks cleaner. Obviously, we need to steam it and make it not wrinkly, but he thinks this looks better than like if I was to be up against the cabinets that are behind me. So just curious what your guys' opinions are on that. The only issue I have with it, something is pilling a little bit. I don't know. I probably didn't let... Uh-oh, and I'm knocking things over. I love this Lydia, but she is very top heavy and she does not stand up well. Maybe that primer, because I used the skincare yesterday, but I didn't put the primer all over my face. Something's pilling up today. I didn't let something sink in enough. Oh, it's probably the Murad. So you just have to go around. I'll tend to, when it starts to do that, I'll just use my shirt and kind of wipe around to get the excess whatever's. It's probably the sunscreen, because I know when I put it on yesterday, I let it sit. I probably didn't let it sit long enough and it's reacting to something. So the different thing that I put on was this. I used a different pore filling primer. So there it is. There are skincare and primers and stuff, foundations that don't play well together. I have a couple of, I forget which primers they are, but a couple of primers that will make certain foundations pill up, and it just, you got to figure out the right combination, because sometimes I think people will get frustrated and be like, oh, it's bad. Well, it could just be it's not jiving with, and I forgot my little powder brush. I was trying to think if I got all my brushes. I did not get my small one, but I have eyeshadow brushes over here. I didn't bring all of my brush cups. I just pulled out what I thought I was going to use. From now on, I may just, because they're in cups, I may just bring all the cups out and set them on the table when I film. That way I don't have to worry about forgetting stuff. Trial and error here. Trial and error. I figured a get ready would be the easiest way to kind of test out angles and stuff, just because it's a little more of a casual video. It's not as formal as like a palette review where I'm swatching and doing stuff like that. So you can see I'm concealing under my eyes and a little bit on my forehead, and I've stopped doing my cheeks just because it's not visible enough, and I'm just wasting product at this point. And I don't even put foundation on anymore. I was doing a little dot on my forehead early on, but I haven't been doing that much. So I just use this, my e.l.f. Camo Concealer, and I'm in Fair Warm, which is probably a little on the light side for me. So I conceal, I do my color correct, I conceal, and then I just take this and rub the excess so there's a little bit of a base for when I do my bronzer on my forehead, so it's not like clinging to my skin. And I will go around and take some pressed powder with a little bit of a coverage. but the mask covers so much that I just stopped doing as much. I was doing a little bit here just because you could kind of see that through the mask, but I'll highlight a little bit right here, but I don't contour anymore like I was doing before. And then it's just concealer, like I said, and it's really just to give me a little bit of a base on my forehead, because sometimes if you have concealer or you don't have concealer, some powder and even cream products will cling weird to the skin. So first off, I've been using my number 7, and I'll just use a bigger eyeshadow brush because I forgot to bring my little powder. This is just a Morphe brush, but I take this is a translucent, and I'll set under my eyes with this, and I'll take a little bit kind of up in here. This has a little bit of like a blurring effect to it, so I like to put this a little bit, and then I'll go in. I've been using my Mary Kay. This is in Ivory too. This is the Sheer Mineral Press Powder, and it has a little bit of a pigment to it. It's got some coverage, and I have mine's almost gone. Well, not almost, but I've definitely hit pan on it. I do have a backup of this in my drawer in the Ivory too. In the Mineral Powder Foundation, I've been wearing Ivory 1. I used to be Ivory 2. That runs a little bit dark. I'm still Ivory 2 in the liquid. I have a liquid foundation from Mary Kay, but yeah, this gives me a little bit of a coverage, and then it just kind of helps set everything, and that's all I've been doing. And then sometimes I'll take a little bit of the Skin Finish. This is from Makeup Revolution. I use this all the time if I can get it open, so you can see starting to get a drop. It's not as browned on top, and I just obviously just put this a little bit because that's all that's visible, so I've just been doing it on my forehead. Okay, let's do brows first. Sometimes I do the bronzer and then eyebrows. We'll do eyebrows first. I'm going to try and turn so I don't have to pull the camera closer. I may have to lean in. I've been using my Benefit pencil that I got. When I was in Montana. And I've just been using this to fill in. That's down too far right there. That's the nice thing about doing this without any like major makeup on. It just wipes off if I make a mistake. And then I've been filling it in a little bit with this pencil, and then I'll go over with a little bit of the pomade that I have from Benefit. I need to, when I run out, I am planning on replacing it. The pencil's in 3.5. My brow pomade is in, I think, 2. My friend Wendy sent it to me, so it's the blonde one, and I'm debating if I repurchase it of getting, not necessarily the 3.5, but maybe the 2.5 or the 2. I'll have to look, because it does balance out the lighter shade, since I'm using a darker pencil and then I go in with a little bit of powder. So I don't know that I necessarily need to get the exact same shade as the pencil, but I go back and forth on what color I think I'm gonna need, because this I think works, so I may just repurchase the same color, because I do go over it with powder, and that also deepens it up some, so we'll see when the time comes. I have a decent amount left in here, so I don't necessarily need to it'll probably be next year sometime before I have to actually repurchase this, so I'll have time to figure out what color I think I want to get. I've been using the Urban Decay one a little bit. The shade that I got's a little on the warm side, which isn't a big deal because I also set it with powder, but I do think it's runnier than my cushion that I liked from Lottie London. Not Lottie London. Iconic London is the company that did the brow cushion that I like. It's runnier than the cushion consistency. So I think I like the pomade with the pencil better, just because it's easier to work with. Benefit's got a really good, I've used the ones from Ulta. The only problem I have with the Ulta brand ones is they dry out, and the same thing with the e.l.f. ones. You've got to constantly like put stuff in them to keep them emollient, I guess would be the word. So that's the only gripe. Like, this is, I think, a little bit older, but it's still good, and it's still got a good consistency to it. So it is a pricier pomade, but like, it lasts longer. It doesn't dry out. And then I have the Give Me Brow. Wendy sent me this one. This is in 5, which is the shade that I use. BoxyCharm next month had this as one of the choice items, so I did pick, because I'm going to need a new one of these. So I was able to pick this as my choice item for next month, I think in the base box. And then in shade 5, because I feel like the darker color just gives some definition. Like, it probably seems weird, but it does give me some definition. So I won't have to repurchase this. So it'll just be repurchasing. So that'll save me a little bit of money. It'll be like 25 instead of 50 or 45. Because I think this is an $18 or $20 brow gel, but it's good. At least I was able to pick the color that I normally use. So now that that's done, I forgot to do this part before. Normally I'll spray the powder. If I go in with like my Cover FX illuminating spray, which is very, very glittery, I like to do that before my eyebrows because my eyebrows aren't glittery. But this is the Truffle Therapy Illuminating Skin Mist from Skin & Co. It doesn't have like big glitter like particles in it like the Cover FX one does. So I don't have to worry about like glitter so much in my brows. And I don't mind the Cover FX one at all. Some people do not like it, but I just like to do my eyebrows first if I'm going to use that one. So I'm just going to use, this is the Chocolate Soleil bronzer. This is from one of the holiday sets last year. I've been using it because I need to, my little Chocolate Soleil bronzer finally went bad on me, and so I've just been using this one. And it really is one of my favorite like contours, so I'm going to use this until it goes bad, and then I'll repurchase one in a compact. But I haven't repurchased anything because this one still works. It's not in the most ideal of packaging, but, and I do like the highlighter that it came with in Angel Wings. I did get one of the holiday sets. I got the one with the little like fox, the snow fox on it. And so it's a little palette, and it comes with, and I'm just going to use my chocolate gold as the bronzer. It's a smaller palette, and then it came with like a blush and highlighter, and the blush is pretty, and the highlighter is very similar to that one. It's a little bit different, but I didn't realize that palette had 3 pressed glitters in it, so that kind of upset me a little bit. But I need to get over this anti-press glitter because I used to do pressed glitter all the time. So I need to just probably get over that. And then I'm going to go in with a little bit of highlighter. This is my favorite highlighter. This is from Becca. This is the Opal one. It's a very pretty champagne-y gold. Like, if I had to pick one favorite highlighter, and so I'll just bring this around a little bit. This would be my favorite highlighter. So yeah, I just highlight a little bit, and I'll bring it just around, so there's not like some weird disconnect. And then I'm gonna try, I got this in an Ipsy. This is a Will Powder Blush in Stamina from the Balm, and I just take a little bit, and I do a little bit kind of in the temples where it seems weird because I'm just doing the top, but that's where I would blush and then blush and then blush and blush, but just doing the top. So I know it looks a little bit strange. Is that not gonna stay closed? I threw this, I'm gonna have to put it back in the sleeve. I have the sleeve, I thought this was magnetic. I'm realizing it's not. I think I have the sleeve still, so I'll have to put it back in the sleeve so it stays closed. So that's all I've been doing for the base. That's it. And then this is actually the Tarte. If you've been here before, I put my Tarte double hitter, double whatever, their equivalent of the bottle it was in was leaking. So this is the Tarte spray. I'm just using it up because this is a better bottle. I have a backup of my all-nighter. I just didn't want to open it because then I'll never use that up. And I would like to use up the Tarte spray before I open another one, and then that one's just sitting there. If you saw my sprays, and I do have a new Tarte one because I did get one last month. I haven't used it yet, but it's in more of like an aerosol, like the Morphe setting spray is what it seems like, but I don't believe I've actually tried it yet. My dogs are outside, and my small one likes to bark, so that is what you are hearing. Okay, so hopefully stuff's not in frame too much and it's distracting. If it is, I apologize. So this is the palette. I'm sure I've been keeping it in the box. The packaging is really cute, but I'm sure you've seen it. So here she is. It's got the names on the back in little cauldrons, excuse me. And then thankfully they did print them on the palette, and there's the sisters. I've heard people say that they don't think it goes with the theme, but like if you look, like this is like the coloring of like them essentially. And then you've got some neutrals because ColourPop's not going to do a palette without, you know, transition shades, but I think it goes well with the color scheme of them in the movie. I don't think they did a bad job with this palette at all. It is definitely on the lighter side. Somebody with deeper skin tone, I think, could potentially run into an issue. I'm going to use On Toast, which is kind of a camel color. This is the second time I've used it. I used it once, and then my daughter dipped into it. Thankfully, she didn't wreck it. I about had a heart attack when I realized she had gotten into the makeup, but thankfully she's watched me do my makeup, my 2-year-old, and so she was actually using brushes and like tapping, so you can see like she kind of dug her finger into the glitter, but did not mess the palette up at all, thankfully. So because I can't get a replacement. Like I said, ColourPop did the one. I don't know why they did that, and I can go into that whole debacle. So I went on the day it was supposed to launch, and I was at work, and I had told the girls, like, it was slow that day too, so I was able to kind of hang out in the back. I'm like, I'm trying to get this ColourPop palette, and I initially, when 10 o'clock rolled around, like it was like an hour went by and they had like 4 or 5 pieces from the collection, and they couldn't get it all to load. Like the first day, they never did get the whole collection to load. So then they were like, I'm going in with the green shade and Bewitched, the matte green. And so then they were like, okay, well, we're going to try again tomorrow. And I was working at AutoZone. And again, I was on they actually had it up early because I was on the website like 2 minutes before. It was like 9:50, yeah, 9:57, 9:58, and the collection was already available. So I went on, I put in the palette, the lip kit. Was able to get the lip kit. I got the Sarah one, the Vampiest one, and the liner set. But by the time, it took a while to get through like PayPal to do the actual payment. So by the time I got to the end, the liners were gone, which I don't know why they had such a limited stock. Because I tried, when Ulta launched theirs, I tried going on the Ulta website, and I was going to get the liners and some lashes, and they still had palettes when I went on initially, like when their launch started, but they were out of pretty much everything else. So I don't know why they had such limited stock of the liners and the lashes, because that seems like that stuff went really quick. They had a lot of palettes, which, I mean, I'm sure they were thinking that was going to be the main, but I felt like they should have had more stock. I don't know, it was just a mess. So I was able to get, like I said, one lip kit and the palette, but I had to be on the website at work, which not everybody's able to do. And I was at AutoZone. Thankfully, I had a minute, like the timing worked out where I was able to just kind of get in there and order it. But I don't know why they weren't anticipating. Like, I know this was probably their biggest Disney launch that they've ever done. I don't know why they had to have gotten, because I'm sure there's some sort of polling, or, they're looking at Instagram, seeing what the demand, because they announced that they were going to do a Hocus Pocus. I don't know why they didn't assume that the demand was going to be what it was for this. People lost their minds over this. And there's another Halloween-ish, October-ish palette that sold out in a minute. I was able to get that. Shroud Cosmetics did a collab with a YouTuber. She goes by Butte Bean. Her name is Betty Jean. She's a hairstylist. She lives in Florida. I absolutely love her channel, but she did a collab palette with Shroud, and that palette literally sold out in a minute. I was on there right at 9. I had a timer set. I was on the website like 2 minutes before. And so I ended up getting the Arcane palette. I'm probably not pronouncing that right, but I think that palette is actually a good dupe for this. So I do want to do a video with those because that palette is not limited edition. So if you liked this color scheme of this, and I guarantee you, not that this one's not pigmented, because I feel like it is pigmented. If you like the color scheme of this and you weren't able to get it, I think the Shroud palette is a good option because, like I said, it is not limited edition. So I'm going to go in with a little bit of Hello Salem, which is like, it's like a light peachy color. This color's a little bit patchy, but it's not bad. I used it on the lower lash line when I used it the first time I did the, you know, the look everybody was doing with the burgundies on top and the green on the bottom. So we're kind of switching it up here. I wanted to use the green today. It almost looks brown. I'm going to go in with that fluffy brush in the green. I don't know if this is a pressed pigment. It could be. I don't know. Greens are hard to formulate though too. Greens and purples are some of the most difficult shades to formulate. It's not a bad green. It's way better than the one in the Jaclyn Hill Vault palette. I had that palette, Dark Magic. I liked that palette, but that palette was difficult to work with. I have contemplated repurchasing Dark Magic and one of the other ones, but they are difficult to work with. Like, you've got to have some time and be willing to sit to use those. So I'm going to move my mirror just so I can, maybe over here. My lighting's a little bit better on this. There's more light coming from this direction than the other direction. So hopefully this isn't distracting. That way I can make sure, because I do have to be at work. And since my eyes are the only thing that's visible, if they're a little bit wonky, somebody's going to notice. But it almost looks brown once you get it blended out. Like, I don't know that it necessarily reads green anymore. I feel like it did on the lower lash line, but when I did it on the lower lash line, I put the shimmer on top of it. So there was more green coming through, but I don't think it's a bad color at all. I like the grungy colors. Let me find a brush. I'm going to use Wench. It's a very pretty shimmer, and we're going to put this. I'm not holding the palette up just because it's not a tutorial, but you can just see me use it. But yeah, I did order when I got the It's Freaking Bats palette from Shroud. I got the bundle with these like pins that she designed to go with it. And then I got the Arcane palette again because I think I've been wanting it for a long time. It's one that I've looked at for like a year. And then when this whole debacle was going on with this, I was looking at, I was like, it's a very, there's greens, there's some plums, like it's a very similar color vibe, jeweled, a grungy jewel toned palette like this one. So that really made me like, okay, I think I'm going to get it. And then I can do a video with these. Like I said, that way, if you were kind of wanting this and you couldn't get your hands on it, that might be a good option. Because like I said, the Arcane, I'll look at it when it comes and hopefully pronounce it correctly, but is not a limited edition palette. So that may be a good alternative if you were thinking about this one and you weren't able to deal with the madness. My Ulta, I was going to go over to Ulta and try and get the liners in person. My Ulta did not get any of the Hocus Pocus collection. The one in Yuma is very small. There is an Ulta in El Centro, which is about 45 minutes, an hour away. It's technically in California, but it's like 45 minutes outside of Yuma. They did, but I didn't have time to go over there and drive, obviously. But yeah, my Ulta did not get any of the Hocus Pocus. And I talked to one of the employees, and she said it's really annoying because when they do get pieces from collections like that, they don't get the whole collection. If they do, it's like 2 things of this, because like when they got the Candyland, it was like a few pieces here, a few pieces there, and then even when they Ulta did the Harry Potter collection, they were sending them like one house at a time, and it was like not even all the pieces, and they were getting a palette here and a palette there. Like it's very bizarre the way Ulta and I think ColourPop set up. Because she was telling me, she's like, if we do get it, we're not going to have the whole collection. And if we do, it's going to be like 3 lashes. And I heard that there were Ultas that happened to, where they had, you know, 3 lip kits and a pair of lashes from each of the sisters, you know, on palettes. And because you're just setting the employees up to be yelled at, because people get salty and people get mad. I work at AutoZone, which is retail, even though it's car parts. And you got to think people are coming in there generally because there's something wrong with their car, and people get mad and agitated. I haven't had as many salty people with the hair, because people are just thankful that we're open right now. But I have had salty people before that. I mean, you would think if you're coming in to get your hair cut, you're not going to be mean to the person cutting your hair, but you would be mistaken if you think that never happened before. I don't know what shade I want to use to blend. Maybe just some more of the green. I don't really have a good... I'm going to try a little bit of this Goodbye Cruel World. I don't even know. It's like a brown color. I don't even quite know how to describe that. I'm just going to put a little bit out here just to help blend that into the green. I don't like to have just one solid shimmer all the way across, so I always will tap a second color kind of out in here, and it just helps with the blend and gives a little bit, I think, like dimension. So that's fine. That will work. That's the only frustrating. I mean, I call it a bus, is a black, but it's a sequence black. And so you have got this shade that's deep and this shade, but you don't really have anything to deepen them up other than the sequence. And there's a few sequence shades, because I think Coven is a sequence, and Full Moon is a sequence, and Come Little Children, which is a matte with glitter. And then Goodbye Cruel World, Wench, It's Firm, the Thackeray Banks, Jabos. Those are actual shimmers. And then you have Brew Potion, which is a pressed glitter. And then Night of Frolic, Dead Man's Toe. I think Dead Man's Toe is a sequence shade. It's hard to tell because some of the glitter did. Bewitched is a matte on Toast, and Hello Salem is a true matte, but you don't have a really good deep shade. I am going to take a little bit of the, I don't know what brush this is. That's usually the one I use on my lower lash line. Let's see. I don't know. Maybe just my blending brush. I call it a bus, which is the black with the glitter in it. I just want to see. I don't think I used this black. Maybe I did. The sequence shades don't bother me. I have heard people say they don't like them as much as their mattes, like their true mattes. With the sequence shades, a lot of times with a lot of blending, the glitter is going to dust away. Although ColourPop, I have noticed, especially in their Blowing Smoke palette, the sequence shade in there, the glitter, like there's a lot of glitter and it stays. It really depends on how much glitter is in it and how it's pressed, because a lot of times those just act as a matte. Because once you get it in the crease and you start blending it out, the glitter is going to dissipate, if that makes sense. And then we'll go over a little bit with the green. It's not a bad black. Like, I don't think that's bad. This definitely looks a lot darker. And like I said, I don't know that it necessarily translates that there's green on my eyes, but that's all right. I'm just going in with the blending brush, and I have my color switch. And then I'll just take a little bit of Hello Salem again, and we'll just blend that out. I think I'm wearing black today to work. So we're just having super grungy eyes. Okay. And then I don't know what I want to use on the lower lash line. Let's put on Toast first. I don't think I'm going to do Cranberry like I did. We'll do on Toast. And I may put a little bit of the green down there, just because it may read a little more green on the lower lash line. I don't know. I'm going to start with On Toast, and then I think I'll go in with Coven, which is also a brown, and then I may reblend it out with On Toast. I was thinking I was going to do brown, but I didn't have a plan formulated as to which browns those would be. So this is Coven, which is also a sequence shade. It's darker than On Toast. We watched Hocus Pocus. Diana actually watched most of it. She's like, witches. Mike had tried to have her watch it several months ago, and she wasn't super interested, but she's, you know, more aware of Halloween now, and there's decorations up, and they're doing stuff at school, so she watched most of it. It's a long movie, and she's only 2, but she, I would say, watched a good 2/3 of it, which is not bad, especially because she doesn't watch many live action movies either. So I was impressed that she watched as much as she did. For inner corner, I'm going to use Wench again. It's a really pretty, like, champagne shimmer. Like, I could get away with probably using it as a highlighter too. It's just a really pretty shade. I do like this palette. It is definitely more grungy of a palette, which I like. I've been channeling my, 90s grunge phase lately. I might take a little bit of the green on an angled brush. Again, didn't really have a plan formulated. I knew I wanted to use the green on top this time, and I knew I didn't want to use the cranberry on the bottom. That was as far as my planning extended. And then I forgot to bring liquid liner and lashes over here, but I'll do those at my desk when I'm done. But so that is the eyes. Like I said, I don't think this is a bad palette at all. Kind of afraid of the glitter. I popped a little bit right in here. That's pretty. It's a pretty creamy pressed glitter, so I don't feel like you need glitter glue. Like, that just stuck there. So that's good. I actually like that. And it's just a little bit. If I can get past my fear that I'm going to get glitter lodged into my contacts, then I'll use it more. And it's only one, and it's very creamy, and that just stuck on there. So that, and I like that next to the green. But that's the palette. Thank you so much for sitting and getting ready with me. Like I said, I'm just going to work. Face is super fast because this is all you're going to see. So I've stopped wasting product going farther down like I was doing before. So yeah, thank you guys so much. If you have not subscribed already, make sure you subscribe. If you want to see, if anybody cares and wants to see a 3 looks with this, I can do that. If nobody cares, we'll move on. I will do the comparison with the Shroud palette. Try not to pronounce it wrong until the palette comes, but I do think that that's a good option if you were wanting this and you couldn't fight the hordes of people, because it was madness. And even the It's Freaking Bats with Shroud, they were not expecting the volume that they got, and the palette literally sold out in a minute, which is insane. And there is a third palette that I got. I was able to get the Black Moon Cosmetics Urban Myth palette. I have been wanting to try Black Moon Cosmetics eyeshadows for years, and that palette speaks to my soul. I love myths and urban legends and cryptozoology and like monsters. Like, I watched Monster Quest, you know, Jersey Devil, Bigfoot, UFOs. I watch Ancient Aliens, all of that. So that palette really spoke to me. So that is coming. So I will review that. And I think that one was easier to get because I was on the website right at noon when it launched, and it was still available in the evening. So that one, either there wasn't as high of a demand or they were able to get more inventory, because Black Moon is also an indie brand. So I don't know, but that's also coming. So I will do videos on those palettes. And yeah, that's all I have. I hope you guys have a wonderful rest of your day. Everybody stay safe. I love you guys. Thank you so much for being here with me. Hopefully you can see me, and everybody have a wonderful rest of your day. Bye, everybody.